Alrighty folks, welcome back to Roottree Mania. I've seen the comments implying very strongly that I should be trying to figure out how to get the photos from Picoty, but I have no idea how. We already tried searching everything that's on the thing. I saw one comment suggesting if I wait, is it raining? It's raining. Since when has there been weather in this game? Weird. Has there been an update that added weather? So yeah, I definitely have never noticed that before, at least. Okay, let's try not to be distracted by the weather. One comment said something to the effect of if I just remembered all the context around Picoty. This is the problem with trying to interpret comments as kind of hints, is that they can also just completely send me on the wrong path entirely. But we'll see what happens. Okay, so then I guess what I want to know is, how did I get to Picoty in the first place? Maybe that's a good place to start. And I'm just going to have to assume that's what both of these photos are. Because I definitely did search a lot around this and did not come up with their photos. I guess if I find the Picoty photos and it doesn't give me these, then I know I can focus on these specifically, but we'll see what happens. So can I find out from these notes, when did I first encounter Picoty? Here, possibly. So we started with Rubie Spratt because we were looking at, that's to do with Miracle. News time. How did we end up here from the Roottrees Sisters Fashion Scholarship? Why did I go there? Did I get there from Root? Interesting. Yes, okay. Because it was in the okay, let's go right back to this. To be fair, that is currently second in the list of things to look at. And so is reminders, which is curious. The problem is I don't understand, because I think this can just mean there are 6 things connected to it rather than direct searches from it, so I don't know how much this helps me. I mean, maybe it helps me a bit. So, Roots was mentioned somewhere in here, I believe. Or no, maybe it was in this. It was probably in this, yes. Root, or not. Hold on, back to this one. Was it in here? Single women and guy often spend a lavish amount of money on private parties, right? I don't think it was mentioned here. So how did I go back to Root in the first place? There was something at some point. Definitely not in here. That's just a recap of Roots was the thing, the fashion Roots. Am I just not seeing it? This is also the problem with it to this point. It's feels too laborious to read everything very carefully when you've already been through it. But then you're just gonna miss stuff. It's the detective game equivalent to when you get impatient in a a precision platformer and you don't carefully do stuff. You just keep trying to smash your way through it, and it doesn't work. I guess I somehow ended up here. So this is the same page as if you search for this, right? Yes. It's apparently Brenda White's second in command. Designer? On the leadership page, you learn that Ruth is currently managed by a designer who is apparently Brenda White's second in command. You don't recognize her name and she seems unrelated. Okay. There's also a scholarship page. On it, you find information about the Roottree sisters' fashion scholarship. It is awarded to 3 underprivileged high school girls each year who wish to pursue a career in fashion. Apparently, it also gives them an opportunity to show off their designs on professional models on a real runway. According to the site, the fund was created directly from shares that would have contributed to the inheritance of the Roottrie sisters if they were still alive. Like other aspects of the Clancy Trust, is managed by Rubie Legal Enterprises. And I was interested in looking this up because there have been various references to the Rootrees legal company or whatever. This did make me wonder if Picot would have anything. Not Picot, the other one, the photo one. But that's, maybe. Yeah, nothing. I don't know why I expected Picot. What even is Picot? A recent supermarket tabloid that latches onto popular culture. Okay. We could do this. Okay, nothing. I do feel a little bad about using that, but not really bad. I'd rather use that than the duck, but I might end up using the duck eventually. Who knows? According to the site, the fund was created directly from shares, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, so we search this next. Let's just follow our path again. Rubie Legal Enterprises is the name of the law firm that has been hired by Roottree Candy Company. The company is named after its head lawyer, Rubie Spratt. You can't find much about the company from before this year, though all of the articles tell the same tale. After the fiasco of Six Pieces and the revelation that Rootree's internal law group was complicit in such a cover-up, they hired outside counsel. The Rubie Legal Enterprise Group, which is what we're currently searching for, now seems to have ties to multiple aspects of the Roottree Corporation, including the Candy Company and Roots. Yeah, okay. They were recently in the news due to a high-profile lawsuit they raised against Sisely Sanchez. This is the path. This is the route to it. But there is also Rubie Spratt, which we were looking at that last time, right? And it led us to Rubie Spratt was was in foster care in Portland or something like that. Let's go down the Sisely Sanchez route. I was here yesterday, last time. Sisely Sanchez is an author best known for Portrait of Change. That wasn't me revealing when I last recorded. It wasn't yesterday. I just said yesterday randomly. Sisely Sanchez is an author best known for Portrait of a Changed Man. I've already looked that up. Her follow-up, Foreign Gospel, did not perform as well critically, but still sold quite respectably. She has written a few more books since then, including a biography of Van Gogh, but her first 2 are her claim to fame. According to a site about authors, Sisely is known for her non-fiction with a focus on exploring darkness in the human psyche. Recently, Sisely appeared in a magazine called Picot with an article about a book she had been commissioned to write for Guy Hudson. The magazine and Sisely herself were immediately issued a cease and desist due to its inclusion of pictures that she never had the right to publish. The issue was pulled from the store shelves, making it an instant collector's item. This is what I want. How do I get there? Okay, so we probably searched Picot at some point. Oh yeah, it came up with that. And then did I do Picot Magazine? Yes. Picot Magazine is a publication that, as far as you can tell, has no consistent theme. It tends to contain tabloid-esque articles that appeal to a wider variety of audiences. So yeah, I've definitely been here. Appears in many grocery stores near the checkout line. Unlike traditional tabloids, it doesn't typically feature celebrities on the cover. Instead, it tends to latch on to and create sensationalist headlines about whatever subject appears to be popular at any given time. Did we search these things? I feel like we did. Beanie Babies, nothing. I mean, I could search for that in Picot. I just don't see what why it would be relevant, but sure. Interesting that it had an edition that featured those, and yet it's not something you can search. Oh, it would be fun if this gave it a magic eye to do. With a clue in it. Oh my gosh, that would be cool. Missed opportunity. Nothing there. What? Oh. Okay. Even Red Bull. We can search for Red Bull. Nope. I have to go that far back for that. Weird. It is often come under fire for printing fiction along with facts. Picot gets around this by stating in every issue that all of its articles are all the hearsay that's fit to print. At one point, Picot ran an article about Sisely Sanchez, an author. She claims to have written an unread book about Guy Hudson. The article was not even the main focus of the issue, yet the magazine was threatened legally by the Roottree Corporation. I mean, have we searched that since we last did stuff? Much has changed over the last many months at the Roottrie Candy Company. One of those things is its website. Though during your last search you only got a good look at the history page, the design itself has clearly become much more sleek and very corporate. Gone is any history focused on Elias Roottree. Instead, the site seems to focus on the present status of their candy offerings, with high-quality JPEGs of each of their products. I don't think I've read this. There are also some small ads for Root, which is the clothing company owned by the Roottree Candy Company. There is a small section at the bottom that lists the president as Clark Rafferty LaRue. A short bio mentions that he was responsible for some of their marketing before taking the reins after the unfortunate plane crash. There is also a small memorial section for those that perished in the plane crash, including the Roottree sisters Carl and Brenda, Kurt Johnson. Do you remember any of these names? Who are you? Kurt Johnson and Mark Sanchez were the pilot and co-pilots of the Roottree jet during its crash last December. Although the NTSB investigation has not been released, foul play has been ruled out. Trish King was on the cabin crew of the Rootree's private jet. Elizabeth Nicholson, who went by Eliza, lived in a house with her family, oh dear, about 200 yards from the section of the woods where the plane crashed. She reportedly had a heart attack during the commotion, and her family were unable to reach emergency services due to the overwhelmed phone lines and the ongoing storm. Her son-in-law managed to flag down an officer responding to the plane crash, but it was too late. Deary me. Okay, so that is everybody there. Alright. Back. That particular issue, the big SAS sea bass issue, was pulled from shelves. It now has become a collector's item, especially amongst conspiracy theorists attempting to figure out what the Roottree company was hiding. You find a recently finished online auction that listed a copy at over $1,000 that nobody bid. We saw this last time. And searching for Sisely Sanchez in Picardy is the same as searching for everything else. Yes. Are you in any of the others? Like, I think it makes sense to click search all if I'm literally just going to click through them all to like find it. I don't have a reason to choose any of the others, so I'm doing that. We've been to all of these. That's the one we were just on. That is one we've seen recently. They said that Sisely didn't have the rights. Yes, we know that. Picardy apparently announced that they would be pulling their issue the following day, the moment that Rubie Legal Enterprises threatened them. This caused the issue to self-as did Picardy write about Rubie Legal Enterprises for some reason? Nope. I mean, have we done this? Is this new? This is not new. Clark Rafferty LaRue, as well as Rubie, Spratt, and the company Rubie Legal Enterprises were featured in Business Watch after the company took over as the keepers of the Clancy Trust. There's an article about that process that interviews both Clark and Rubie. It seems that Rubie actually approached the Rootrees sometimes in late March after the Roottree Rift. We've definitely looked at that before, but well before Roottree Mania. An accomplished but relatively low-profile lawyer, she offered to work for very little money, so long as she could be a public face to build her reputation. I wonder if there's some secret connection between... There's something like mysterious going on here, and the fact that she was a... in like foster care in Portland, there's like, I think they're implying there's some mystery there, but maybe not. So lots of people go through foster care and there's no mystery, but who knows. The family quickly jumped on this chance, as many family members often attempt to spend as little as possible to keep their shares of the Clancy Trust as high as possible. Okay. After looking over the Clancy Trust more carefully than anyone had in years, Rubie came to the conclusion that Clancy Edward Rootree's implementation was not legally sound, and that there would be constant legal challenges without some modifications. The family decided to put her in charge of the trust, both legally and as a public face, to prevent further issues. Rubie Legal Enterprises has been described as a mix between a law firm and a PR firm. Public relations. Her first move, as sort of a trial run before she was even hired permanently, was to help them draft a public statement accepting Sam into the family and declaring that they begin to address the Clancy Trust. This went quite well, and they officially hired her in early April. Rubie Legal is now in charge of many financial aspects of the company, including verifying any claims to the trust and organizing the various charitable causes such as scholarships that have been set up in the name of the deceased. Okay, I do not see anything new in that. Like, I'm always keeping an eye out for, like, what is something that can be searched. I don't see anything. What was I going to mention about this? I can't remember. Something. The Roottree Rift, Roottree Mania. There's an article about that process that interviews both Clark and Rubie. Okay. Well, okay, back then. So this is Sisely Sanchez. In news time. How do I get a copy of this Piketty magazine? So we were searching for Sisely Sanchez. Yeah, we were here. We also looked up Sisely in the periodicals, and we looked up these books. There's not like a, we've done this many times, but there's nothing that connects these books to another book. We're not doing one of those, are we? Out of print. We've read this so many times. Powerful true story about a man who woke up after being saved from drowning in his backyard pool, became an entirely different person. What if it were me? Like, is that man somebody we know? I don't think it's related, is it? 1979. Can I search for that on here? I can. Explain why that page that was here before I search is gone. I went to spider search, there was a page there, I searched, I pressed back, and that page is gone. Wow. It was this page. It's like it doesn't, like if I, let's say I go to here, and I search for something, like, no, like what we're on already, Sisely Sanchez. And then I go to like here, I'm on this page, and I put a thing in instead, and I press search. Back goes to there. It's like it doesn't remember the page that I was on when I opened the spider search or something. That just feels like a bug, right? Anyway, because I know it's using the history for like multiple of these, because you go like, sometimes, yeah, it jumps to like the periodicals. But it's getting confused in some way. That doesn't help because now I'm getting lost. Like, where was I? Cancelled book. How do I find a cancelled book? How do I find a cancelled book? I've already searched you here. A book about Guy. There's nothing in our, like, in this about, well, definitely not about Sisely, right? How do I find anything? If I search Piketty in like Business Weekly or something, do we get something like business shouldn't be about law stuff, but well, whatever. We can maybe like, yeah, searching for this in various places could be useful. Like maybe there's a story about, I mean, if I'm just clicking through them all, I might as well just do this. Well, yeah, then we just get that. Didn't have the rights. We did come across some like conspiracy theorist stuff in the base game somewhere, right? Wasn't it to do with... It was to do with somebody's death. Your death? Or... Your death? Should we look up some of these people? Ernie... Wait, how do you do these names again? Ernie Madsen Jr.? Ernest Mats... Wait, is it Madsen? Madsen, yeah. Ernest... It was to do with that, like, car crash. Was the car crash Guy Hudson? It might have been. Guy Hudson. This page hasn't been updated, but if it leads me back to that conspiracy theory stuff, like maybe that would be useful. Yes, car accidents. Aggressive fled after the accident, police have a few leads to make, blah 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 blah. So it was Guy Hudson's crash, so there's a connection there, I guess, in the fact that it's Guy Hudson. I'm sure there were pages about it or something. The fact has led some people to speculate that the night he died in the car crash he was drunk or impaired in some way, but the Butler County Police have released multiple statements and ample evidence proves decisively that it was not foul play and that no party had taken place. The Roottrees lawyers have been quick to threaten litigation to anyone who has tried to disparage Guy or the company in public. But what about there was definitely some conspiracy theorist stuff. How did they get there, though? And it's not going to be in the history because that was in the base game. I mean, I could go back to the base game, I guess. Like, where else do you appear? Butler County Times. Yeah, that's the one we were just looking at, right? Yeah. Pickety. Already seen that. Already seen this. Back to 5Ps. Okay. Shall I? Okay, hold on. We're doing this. Go back to the base game. Where there's no rain. I think had it stopped raining? I don't know. Then... Why did I also think it was connected to Chris Rafferty? What's the Roottree curse? It doesn't really make sense for the curse to be connected though. Operation RT29. Thomas Overwood. Do all the pages from before still show up? Roottree curse. Thomas Overwood. Maybe Operation RT29. Okay. So we went back in time. Now we're going back to where we came from, or when we came from. RT29. It's raining. Here. Okay, there's a new page. During your initial search, you come across Thomas Overwood's conspiracy page about the Roottrees. 8 months later, the page still exists and is thriving. Visitor counter has reached in the 7 digits. Many older articles have been replaced. It seems that the recent uprising of Rootree news has left Thomas Overwood with a constant stream of events to base new theories on. More than one of his theories involved Roottrie deaths being faked. According to Overwood, statistically, when you have this many high-profile people who have died in the family, the odds are that one of them faked their death. It's just math. This newfound focus on death faking seems to coincide with a post mentioning that he's begun believing the guy's not dead theory. In his own words, my eyes have been opened, all of this is beginning to make too much sense. Do you have the Piketty stuff? One of his posts details the belief that Ron Roottrie is still in charge, Gwyn Roottrie's death was fate, and that Clark is only there to throw people off. Apparently this allowed Ron to travel to France to develop their new candy recipe in secret. Another is about the rapper 5-Piece. He can't possibly be a Roottree. One of his first album songs, when he was performing under the devil name, actually mentioned that he wanted to have sex with Raina. Indeed. Not even Sam Madsen is spared. According to Overwood, the author of Six Pieces isn't real. Sam Madsen is an anagram for Am Madness. Classic conspiracy theory stuff. They're purposely leaving hints for us. He claims that by using Six Pieces with Lauren Rootree's book as a one-time pad, he has begun to decrypt a cipher. As a one-time pad? What does that mean? One-time pad? Don't know. Most of the cipher has seemed meaningless, but he managed to pick out the words people and vastness and is working on figuring out what it means. Operation RT29. There is also a request at the bottom. Next year, 2000, is a leap year, and Overwood is looking for funds to volunteers to catch the Rootrees red-handed in Operation RT29. It specifically mentions not to volunteer if you've ever drunk Spirit Cola, but doesn't go into why. Okay, that's not new. You find more. This hasn't been updated. Okay. Oh, this is not going to lead anywhere either, is it? Piketty 1, Piketty 2, what is going on? Okay. Is there a way to get here without, like, remembering the conspiracy theorist name and all that stuff? Okay, to be fair, I did think it multiple times, like, oh, it's like conspiracy related, therefore I've got to go and find that again. But I thought something would lead me there at least, rather than having to go back and... Oh my gosh. The Guy's Not Dead conspiracy stems from a website that focuses on clues that the Rootrees have supposedly hid all over the place. This includes on candy wrappers, in print advertisements, in television commercials, in their jingles, etc. The story, according to the website, is that Guy Hudson was a terrible president of the Roottree Company and introduced multiple failed products. Something needed to be done that would put the company immediately and instantly back in the favor of consumers. So they killed off Guy Hudson and replaced him with a new president. This move immediately garnered sympathy, and the company recovered the next year, more popular than ever. The next president stayed much further out of the limelight, and some people even theorized that he was simply Guy Hudson in an elaborate disguise, which is why he stopped appearing in public. The people who run the site are asking for help. They're certain that there's a clue to all of this that accidentally leaked in a banned article from the magazine Piketty. On their page is a scan of the magazine's cover, the interview with Sisely Sanchez about Guy Hudson, and some photos. You add them to your evidence. It's gone down. Wait, it's 0 now. Oh no, wait, hold on. Oh, this is the new pages. So yeah, the main one is 0 now. Wait. Oh, I see the thing's updated. Okay. Hello. Was this in Brazil? This photo is the first from a magazine interview with Sisely Sanchez in Piketty. The issue of Piketty magazine that it came from was pulled from the shelves, but you managed to find it online. Piketty... Oh, it's you as well. Piketty does not label its individual photos. Both photos were instead under the shared label. Sisely was provided these photos by the Roottree Company for use in her book. In the background of the photo there's a Christmas tree, so it's around Christmas time. Okay. I don't even remember what the other one was. Oh, it was the food people. Here? Okay. That's totally it, isn't it? This is an interview with Sisely Sanchez, an author. She was hired to write a book about Guy Hudson. You claim to have been paid a significant amount to write a book about one of the Rootrees, Guy Hudson. He was president for a short period at the end of the 1970s, right? Yeah, I met him on New Year's Eve actually, the last night of 1978. Guy liked to throw big parties. I was just coming off of Changed Man and looking for my... Oh yeah, we've already searched that. It had a longer title, but yeah. And looking for my next project. When his wife learned who I was, she invited me to the party and they cornered me to talk about a book. That was the first time anyone recognized me from my work. I'd finally made it. The book they asked me to write sounded great, but then none of that stuff that made him interesting was allowed to stay. Chop, chop, snip, snip, and anything with even the slightest threat to Guy's image ended up gonzo. What was the stuff that made him interesting? At his core, Guy was not complicated. In fact, I think I could boil him down to two traits. First, he wanted to be seen as the second coming of the great Elias Rootree, and second, he'd never be satisfied living the life needed to be seen that way. He had his fortune and good looks, and he really liked to exploit that to pick up women, but he couldn't let anyone else know, so it cost him a lot to cover it up. That was the only interesting aspect of Guy. He was James Bond trying to convince people he was Mr. Rogers, I guess. Mr. Rogers, really? Maybe that's not the best metaphor, but Elias Rootree was boring as all hell and all about family. Guy did everything he could to be seen that way. After I submitted my first draft, he sent me this garbage book, The Rootree Legacy, with Elias on the cover. Oh gosh, okay. We need to start doing this again. I guess it's on... Hold on, we're going to add it here instead. Oh wait, how do I... wait. It's weird that these buttons are actually at the bottom of the scroll bar. Instead of like, oh, that's not what I meant to do. Okay. Last time he and I met, he had even switched out his orange suits for the same green ones Elias wore. And remember fancy flavors? Guy knew that part of Elias's legacy was the 5-piece flavors, so that's what Guy tried to do. Caviar was a disaster here, but it was actually somewhat popular in Brazil for whatever reason. Christmas 1979, he went to Brazil to open the Roottree Brazil factory. Guy was always hopping around the world trying to recreate that success. So how come the book never came out? It's complicated. I had an out in my contract. Surprisingly, Guy signed the contract my lawyers wrote without running it by anybody in his legal department. I could pull my name off the book at any time, but Guy still got the content. After I left, it probably got a lot harder to convince any real publisher to give it their time. Interview continues on the next page. Holy moly. I give my gotta do tongue exercises to be able to continue reading this thing. He was the president, right? Do you know why he never released it himself? If I had to guess, his family very wisely put a stop to it. Mid-1981, months after I had already moved on, he called me back and showed me a final draft. Do you know how expensive it is to publish one copy of a book? It had my name on it, in big, shiny, embossed letters. Like all problems in his life, throwing money at me was his attempt to win me back, but it had half the page count and the narrative was torn to bits. No thanks. The dinner was good, imported steak that likely cost as much as a month of my mortgage, and we all got pretty drunk. He sent his mistress, Susie, something. Susie something, okay. Interesting. I don't remember Susie, but maybe that is one of the names, I can't remember. Poor girl, I remember her from our trips overseas. She was too good for him. Anyways, he died soon after, and that was the last that ever came up. What can you tell us about the family? Any insight into the scandals from the recent book by Sam Madsen? I actually haven't read it, I just skimmed the sections on Guide to see why people were suddenly calling me up to ask about the man. I'd say she did well for what she had to work with. She only had rumours, whereas I spent time tailing him. Sometimes he knew, sometimes he didn't. He invited me to join them when dealing with Roottree Brazil, but I actually had people on him when he went to Australia, France and China too. When he met with someone, I'd figure out who they were and how they were involved. Doubly so if the meeting happened when he didn't want me to be around. Despite his best efforts, I got the whole truth, including things even his family never knew. For example, the daughter of his business partner in Australia, I think her name was Robin, he and she definitely spent a few nights together that he didn't want his family to know about, but I did. I need to match this up with things. Madsen got things wrong. Sam mentions Guy's affairs and treats them like most people would logically think to treat them, like the infidelity was a problem for Patricia. When his wife first approached me, though, that is the impression I got from the first page here, that maybe she was in on this. On paper and in public, it was a marriage like any other, but in reality, it was more of a mutually beneficial arrangement. They both got what they wanted out of it, the same thing. What was that? I'm assuming I only have to spell it out so you can get it in writing for your readers. Women. Patricia enjoyed the company of women, and the swinger scene made that more accessible. I told her I wasn't interested in her and Guy. I found out later that if I had said yes, the next question would have been whether or not her husband actually had to be there too. Guy, on the other hand, was seen in a traditional marriage, and at the same time could bed any women that found him charming. I can assure you that was exactly the type of marriage he was interested in. Alrighty, there are a few things there, and we've got these photos, and I think it probably completes everything, right? And we can do the remaining photos of Guy first. Let's do that. I need to even remind myself what the situations were over here. So you and you. So then I think we have Edson Suarez, you. But then there are two women in this picture, and I don't remember the story. It was his wife. Does that look like... Hold on, let's go back to that picture. Yeah, they look like a couple, but then who are you? In the background there's a Christmas tree, but in the background there's also this lady. Who's that? And who's Susie? Do we have a Susie? Ah, Susan Ford, Susie. Okay. And that was the early 80s, that adds up. Okay. Okay. Who are these? Who are you? You were married to you? There wasn't like another person involved. And then there was a son. Well, I guess we could look back at that, I guess. How did we, we started just searching for Roottree Brazil, right? I know I could throw things in right now, but I'd like to try and understand this. Maybe it's just an extra photo that's not needed. Okay. Thank goodness we're actually moving forwards now. Edson Suarez, blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. His wife Sonia was discreetly put in charge of a television station called Telerede or whatever. Okay. And then I think we searched for this stuff, and then we also searched for Sonia. Who's the extra person in this photo? And does it matter? Maybe it doesn't matter. Can be used in the family tree. I think it has to be you. Are we going to get something wrong here? And then, okay, before we do that, let's understand why this photo implies what it implies. Business watch, okay? And then there's you and you. Who are these people? How do I connect this? Have I seen you before? Have I seen you before? Oh, well, okay. There's the maple thing. We don't have an affair in Australia, right, do we? That didn't happen. But the thing about Australia mentions Susie, is that right? Am I getting mixed up? Okay. Daughter of his business partner in Australia, I think her name was Robin. He and she definitely spent a few nights together. But then maybe there's just not they didn't have a child. Robin. We've not had a Robin at all. So, for whatever reason, I'm supposed to be able to tell that this is these two. Why would you be shaking hands with Stephen Garland? He was the chef, was he not? Well, not exactly the chef, he was something else. Unless this is the Australia visit. I don't know what this is. Who are these people? Who are you? You're not somebody I already know, right? Are there other people with like photos missing still? No photos missing over there. There's an extra photo missing there. You've got dark hair. So I don't think it's you. Because I think some photos got added up here, like photo slots. Oh, is that just you? Oh, that is just you, isn't it? Okay. So that's Zach Morden. Is there somebody close to Zach Morden that looks like that other lady? Yeah, that's totally you. I think so. So who's she? So maybe this stuff is actually not from the Piketty stuff. Okay, who are you? I sort of recognize you. You've got 2 glasses of champagne. And your photo goes somewhere, I guess. Oh wait, so could that other person in the background be Susie? I have no idea. It would just be a random guess. It's definitely not you. Even just like facial, like even if you dyed your hair, like I think things don't add up. I don't think it really matches you, but I might put it in anyway. Because I don't really see where else that would go. I mean, it was his secretary. Oh, okay. Maybe that's the connection. It's a bit weak. Is that his secretary? It's not a strong connection. But yeah, maybe it's the secretary and it's just when... Oh, okay. Slightly stronger connection, but I still don't love it. I think it could do with a lot more behind it. Wasn't Christine secretary for both of them? Where do I find that? In this thing. It's not Christine. What's her name? Or is it Christine? Christine Farrow. But it's Christine something else first, right? When does Zach's retiring, Guy will be taking over. Okay. Christine Farrow is hired. Yes. Guy Hudson replaces, but Christine Garland leaves that later that year. It's totally her. That's meant to be the connection. I still find it kind of weak. She's just like standing in the background. Because she's holding their drinks. That's what a secretary does, right? Uh-oh. Something's wrong. I mean, possibly CEO there. Possibly... Oh, but that picture doesn't matter. Unless that's you? Have I forgotten some details? Like, I thought the point was that you married her under an arranged marriage or something. Do I need to research that stuff? Sonia Suarez. But I remember that doesn't come up with stuff, or maybe it does. Yeah, okay. I did somehow find out more about her from like searching this in like the business periodicals. No, not that. Something else. Or maybe that here and then... No. Oh, okay, let's go to the guy. And not Guy, the other guy. Where's that gone? It's gone. It's just vanished. Ah! This interface. Why is it the way it is? Okay, back here. No, not back here. Back to Sonia. This. Like, it's so, like, weird to, like, have the... I've got, like, a mental model of, like, what I've been looking at, and then you press back and it's like, nope, sorry, your mental model is completely wrong. It's like, it just, like, completely throws me off, and I don't remember what I was doing anymore. Okay. Sonia... Okay. I don't think we got anywhere searching for Ashley York. I mean, I'll double check. Did I get anything for searching Sonia Suarez in here? Not in there, in here. Is this what I just did? Wait, how do you spell it? Ah. Well, it ended up being near, didn't it? I remember that much. I don't remember how I got there. Did it not? Why do all the blank pages get inserted in the middle? I guess because I clicked through them. I mean, that sort of makes sense, but they don't really need to be there. Golden head, blah blah blah. How did we end up going from here or near here to something else? Oh, because isn't he a news anchor for something else? If we look up you then in here. Aha, yes. His mother's party. Okay, so we ended up here. Shortened her name to Nia to stand out in the public's eye. Nia received a significant inheritance in 1980, invested in many different manufacturing businesses. She continued to work in television until 1988 when Brazil began its period of reform. Lists her as unmarried, does not go into any relationship history. Search for Nia online, you learn that she stays out of the spotlight. She doesn't even appear at the shareholder meetings. She sends a proxy. Okay. Okay, but we have a different surname here. Okay. But we also have this. Yes, quite a few things to follow up on. No relevant results. Sonia Alves. Yes, the same thing. So then we go over here. We do this. Article about struggles of American blah 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 blah. Private about her identity. Claiming that her marriage in 1973 was not of her own choice. His research claimed that she essentially had her husband forced upon her as a child bride at the age of 15. So in 1973 she was 15. It also claims, because the person in that picture looks older, so maybe that person in the background's the person. Also claims that past appearances with her husband have been for show. They do not live together, that she resents her own parents for the arrangement. The final claim was that she must have made her money under the table. Okay. So that's where that came from, about the child bride stuff. But how does that connect to this picture that we've got that's clearly supposed to be useful somehow? Like, how much younger do you look than him? I mean, he could be, you also could not be. You definitely look younger, whoever you are. Maybe I just have... CEO's a bit broad? But I don't know what else I'd say. Like president? Oh, but that's specifically for that. Television, no, media mogul. Okay. That's a bit, like, arbitrary. Like, media moguls are usually CEOs. But yeah, it's done. It's done. And it was that picture, okay. What about that other person in the background? Is that correct? Oh, I guess it was. I guess it was. I didn't feel confident about that at all. Hey, friends.
I know you probably thought you were done.
Yeah, I noticed the
But
envelope.
it turns out what you're doing here might have some pretty major repercussions on the family tree.
So tell us which one of them are actually
Again.
blood relatives.
Also, there's something really strange happening. I can't explain it.
Neither of us can.
I'd call it a simple misunderstanding, but it's digging at the pit of my stomach. I just have a feeling.
Last week, let's just say being the president, sometimes people bring me things.
Just skip to the important part.
Right. One of our janitors brought me some hair she found in Rubie Spratt's trash. It was Bonnie Hudson's.
Bonnie? Who's Bonnie Hudson? Guy Hudson? I don't know.
Bonnie is Guy's sister.
Okay.
She sent us her hair to test potential Roottrees, since her DNA is closest to Guy's.
Okay.
But Rubie threw it out, and I wasn't sure why she would have done that. Especially
There's
right
something
before
going on with
we had
Rubie,
the
as I
you provided.
suggested.
When I asked, she told me she thought the samples needed to be fresh every time they did a test.
It seems really odd.
Mm-hmm.
Rubie was the one who convinced us to do DNA testing in the first place. You've done more
Oops.
of a deep dive on these people than anybody else has. Clark will keep a closer eye on the DNA tests from now on.
Yeah,
You
something
have
with
an eye
Rubie.
for anomalies. We need you to find the smoking guns.
If there's anyone you're 100% positive can't be a Roottree,
Or any you've got definitive evidence are Roottrees, then we might be able to catch Rubie in a lie.
Huh? How's that catch Rubie in a lie? What? I don't follow. Okay, let's read this. According to Clark, Rubie Spratt, the company's lawyer, was caught throwing away the DNA samples from Bonnie Hudson. These were intended to be used to test new potential Roottrees. Something doesn't sit right with Sam, and the two of them asked for your help. By opening up with your evidence and unsettling family tree, you could verify. Yeah, okay, so I expected this might be how it ends. Certainly legitimate Roottrees, very unlikely to be legitimate Roottrees, and which of them are too ambiguous to make a decision on. Additionally, with a suspicion on Rubie Spratt, it's possible that some of her behaviours in the past have also been cast in doubt. A new section of the tree has been added for you to fill in. Okay, I see these things. Oh, and this. Oh dear. Okay, we're doing this next time, folks. I don't know if it'll be quick or not. Who knows? But we're doing it next time. Alright, see you then.